Hello friend, this is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk about, is the hustle culture toxic? This is something going around today. Well, oh, that hustle culture and that just hard work is toxic. And oftentimes it's thrown in with masculinity because it's predominantly like 99% men talking about hustling and diligence and stuff like that. But the reality is, it is really just some of the caustic personalities behind hustle culture that are the problems. Hustling is not bad. I don't use that term a lot because it's normally so associated with some of these toxic people. But the idea itself of just diligent, hard work, pushing, always giving your best and doing your best is great. Where the problem comes in is that a lot of people are lazy and indolent. They despise diligent effort. The success that you're getting from your hustling, from your hard work, is unobtainable to them because they refuse to have that. They don't have that work ethic. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you read my books, you know when I talk about hard work, I always talk about also doing it intelligently. Because just because you worked 16 hours today, if you did something that could have been done in an hour, but you did it in 16 hours, that's not hustling. That's not doing things intelligently. That may be hard work, but it's dumb. If you could have had it done in an hour. So this idea of just, well, I work long hours doesn't mean anything if you're not doing things the right way, if you're not doing things intelligently, if you're literally wasting hours and hours every day just to say you worked longer. There's nothing good coming from that. Being diligent does not mean being stupid. Does not mean being foolish and working just to work. And that is what it seems like a lot of times hustle culture gets involved in, where it's just this idea of working long hours, longer, but they're not really producing more. And what I would encourage you is, yes, you should work hard. Yes, you should work intelligently. Yes, you should work long hours. Sometimes you need to work very long hours to get a project done. And this 9-to-5 mentality is not going to cut it. But make sure you're doing things wisely. You're not being foolish. You're not just working hours just to work hours, just so you can clock in more time and say that you hustled today. Who are you trying to impress? Now, a different approach is to, yes, work hard. Yes, work intelligently. Yes, you have to work long hours sometimes. But do all this unto the Lord. When you're looking at God and focusing on doing things for Him, looking at Him as your supervisor, as Him as part of your business and the one that you answer to, that's very different. And it will produce ultra productivity, but it doesn't mean you have to just waste time and spend hours and hours in the office just to waste more time and say that you were there for longer than everybody else. Filling your day with useless busy work is not being productive. And while you can pat yourself on the back for working 16 hours today and talk about how you hustled, if you did the productivity of a 6-hour work shift, you wasted 10 hours of your life. Now, don't let people who are lazy, who are indolent, who are not successful, tell you to not hustle. Oh, you just gotta, you gotta have time and work-life balance. And they have all these things that sound good on the surface, but when you really dig down a little tiny bit, you see they're all rooted in indolence. They're all rooted in not doing more. They're all rooted in just enough, just being enough, not being more successful, not being more productive. They're really rooted in fear. So much of the problems in today's culture, regardless of what culture you live in, is based in fear. A lot of times people don't do more, they don't hustle, because they're afraid that their work is not going to earn greater rewards. Maybe they've tried in the past, they worked long, hard hours and didn't get any results from it. So now they're going around trying to convince other people not to work long, hard hours because it didn't work for them. You should never have your life based on other people's fears, other people's failures. Yes, you can learn from their failures. What did they do wrong? Well, a lot of times those people, like I mentioned, are the people who are working 16-hour days, doing 6 hours of work in 16 hours. Just because you spread out the work over a longer period of time is not hustling. It's not being successful. It's not being productive. It's the opposite. So yeah, that doesn't work. Because all you've done is taken a 6-hour work day and extended it to 16 hours. And you've accomplished no more. You've wasted 10 hours of your day. That's not productivity. That's not hustling. That is absolute failure. I'd much rather somebody say I worked 4 hours today and got all this stuff done than to say I worked 12 hours and they got the same amount of stuff done. So you never want to be focused strictly on the time that has passed as being the measurement of the productivity, because that's not. Longer hours with less productivity is not good. It's going the opposite direction of where you want to go. And you don't want to work just to work. Life's about more than that, of course, but life is part work. It's what you do. And you have to work. A man that will not work shall not eat. God doesn't reward indolence. He doesn't reward laziness. He doesn't reward just sitting back and doing nothing and talking about how hustle culture is toxic. Certainly there are toxic people talking about hustling. There is toxicity involved in some hustling mentality, of course. That doesn't mean you should do less. That doesn't mean you should pull back. That doesn't mean you should work less hours and just work smarter, not harder. No, you work smarter and harder. Because you will find when you're working smarter, the harder work isn't as hard as it would have been when you're working foolishly. And you'll be encouraged and reinvigorated because you're seeing more productivity. That kind of builds on itself. When you're productive for a number of days in a row and you're seeing your productivity increase, that encourages you to do more. You're seeing the reward of your hard effort, your intelligent work, and you'll start reaping the benefits of it. Don't give up. Don't pull back. Don't be lazy. Don't listen to somebody telling you you just got to take some vacation. And what about your personal time? And have you thought about your self-care? And all this stuff people use that all sounds good on the surface, but it's all rooted and grounded in fear, limitation, and based on the other person's failure to obtain success. So they want to pull you back. It's the old proverbial crabs in a bucket. Right as one of them starts to get out, they pull him back down. Right as you start to get some little inkling of success, they pull you back down. Oh, you don't want to, that hustle culture, that's toxic. Oh, you don't want to work too hard, work smarter, not harder. They have all these, what about work-life balance? And they have all these catchphrases that sound good on the surface to drag you down to mediocrity and failure. Don't let it happen, my friend. Yes, examine what you're doing. Are you doing things intelligently? Are you just working long hours just to work long hours? And it's something you could have got done in 4 hours, but instead you're working 12. Don't be foolish. Look and examine what you're doing. Can you do it easier? Is there a way, some automation of software, somebody else that can help you, they can get stuff done in half the time? Then you should be doing that. Don't just work long hours just to work long hours, just to talk about how you hustled and pat yourself on the back. But don't give up. Don't give in. Don't pull back because somebody else wasn't successful, because somebody else is afraid of hard work. Don't let that be you. Work hard, work smart, and work a lot. Because it's a blessing. It's a blessing to work in honor of God, to use your life for the most productivity, for doing the most, producing. Instead of just being a consumer, you're a producer. You're adding value to the world, and that's a valuable, good, honorable, noble thing. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.